American Freedom Act, or USA Freedom Act, that Lord Obama has now signed into law, passed by the Congress yesterday evening, out of the Senate with 67 yes votes. And it is called the USA Freedom Act, so it must be wonderful. I guess if you labeled cyanide pills with red, white, and blue, it'd be okay for children to take. Of course, it would really kill them. But we're going to break down what this act actually does and why Rand Paul was opposing it. Very schizophrenic reporting by Fox News, CNN, and others, because I watched some last night and this morning trying to figure out, where they were going with it, and then actually went to some of the different constitutional organization sites to see what they were saying. And the National Constitution Center says it's bad news. And we have gone to the subsections, and we'll go over those here on air. But CNN this morning had a couple articles, one saying that bulk collection was ending and it was a big victory for Snowden. I have that article here. Then another one by Jeremy Diamond saying thought bulk data collection was gone, think again, admitting the thing's a fraud. So this just goes to show that so much of it is basically in the eye of the beholder or how it's spun. People ask me all the time, you say mainstream media is discredited and lies, but then you use it as a source. Well, there are some reporters at CNN that have told the truth. There are some reporters at CBS News that have told the truth. There are a lot of reporters on Fox News that tell the truth. Fox News tells about half the truth, the other half spinning lies. CNN, 75% lies, 25% truth. MSNBC, about 90% lies. And that's just my dead reckoning watching them. But Fox News is almost more dangerous because since they have so much truthful stuff on there, people then accept the lies that much more. It's like putting the cyanide into a steak and you don't know what you're eating until you fall over dead. But CNN had this paradox this morning when I was checking CNN to see what they were saying about the USA Freedom Act. It's like robbing a bank and the cops show up and you say, but it's the USA Freedom Act. Or your van's red, white, and blue and you're wearing a Uncle Sam outfit and you go, stand down, gentlemen. It's freedom. Confetti shoots out of your hands. It's just the ultimate con game. It's all about the triumph of packaging and slogans over reality. We're going to go over what's in it, but I was surprised to see articles on CNN saying big victory for Snowden, big victory for Assange, big victory for freedom. Oh, this ends the illegal activities. Well, I thought there wasn't any illegal activity going on. See, it's lies within lies. But here's the bigger lie. It expands it all. And here's CNN actually telling the truth. Blind hogs do find acorns occasionally. Broken clocks are right twice a day. Thought bulk data collection was gone. Think again. Jeremy Diamond wrote this piece. The NSA is gearing up to collect millions of American telephone metadata again. But see, even that's a lie. It's not metadata, not just who you called, the time and when and the timestamp. They're recording the stinking phone calls, 80% of them. That's what whistleblowers have released the documents on. They index everything, maps of who you associate with. And it's almost a diversion talking about government because corporations, from Microsoft to Google, to AT&T and the big telecoms, to Samsung, to Sony, to you name it, they're all making money off the microphones and cameras. And they go, it's okay because artificial intelligence collates it and then sends the data file to Samsung or other, quote, third-party groups for analysis or purchase. But then they admit they sometimes will sell, if people want to pay for the audio in your house and the video. Who do you think pays? The government mainly. $9 billion a year, last time I saw a congressional number. Then they classified that. That was like in 2005. It was $9 billion that they'd paid in the previous year. So I guess it was 2004. You can look it up. Maybe the guys can and the gals can. 2004, came out in 2005, $9 billion where the government, quote, makes a request and AT&T goes, sure, that'll be $100. Kind of like used to, you got copies of your checks for free. because you kept your money in the bank. Now most banks will charge you. I was talking to a friend who wanted some of his checks. They wanted to charge him $1,400 for his last year of checks. And he hadn't even hardly written many. He threatened to leave the bank. They said, we'll cut it in half, $700. See, once everything's digital, folks, and you don't have a choice, they can get rid of cash, they can screw you over. And that's in the news today as well. So even when CNN tells the truth, it is a addled, blind, groping attempt. Just 2 days after the agency shut down the program, when the Patriot Act provision that authorized it expired Sunday at midnight, the Senate restored those authorities, allowing the government to reinstate bulk data collection for the next 6 months, and it just goes on. Let's read what Scott Bomboy said and wrote at the National Constitution Center. USA Freedom Act signed, so what's next? NSA spying. The act passed the Senate 67 yes votes, signed by Obama. On the surface, the USA Freedom Act curtails but doesn't end the government's ability to get phone metadata records for American citizens and others. After a 6-month transition period, the USA Freedom Act shifts the burden of keeping the phone records to private companies. Oh, that's even worse. And the NSA must get individualized permissions from the secret FISA court to get relevant targeted information from a phone company storing the records. It also provides for an adversarial advocate in the secret FISA court and the release of certain FISA court decisions publicly. The Freedom Act also restores a roving wiretap provision and lone wolf provision of the Patriot Act. Folks, they never followed the Patriot Act to begin with. As Rand Paul said in his speech, they already just recorded all. This is all a joke. They used the FISA court in something like 0.1% of the cases. When they wanted to actually prosecute somebody, they would engage in structuring a fraudulent conversion for the court that they call basically parallel construction, where they then go and create a case acting like they started the investigation from constitutional means when they'd already built the case using illegal total spying systems. Again, this David Knight piece he just filed this morning, in 60 seconds, he tells it all, he explains it all. Here it is.
Just passed by Congress, the USA Freedom Act. Well, not real freedom, but the kind of freedom we act like we have in the USA. Think of it as CISPA for phone companies, a kind of cozy symbiotic relationship between the corporate oligarchy and the authoritarian government. The phone companies will now store your info and pass it on to the paranoid government on demand. And the phone companies will be granted freedom from liability. Now that's real freedom, the kind only the big guys get. Yeah. But wait, there's more. Now Congress will be notified whenever the secret FISA court, well, it's not really a court, just a single judge, reinterprets the law. That's great, because they've been changing the law and not even telling us. Now they're going to let us know. Isn't America great? The USA Freedom Act. Offer void where prohibited by law. For Infowars.com, I'm David Knight.
And by the way, this is the transition now to complete global corporate government. Not free market corporate, but big robber barons with their own hit teams, diplomatic immunity that command NATO. The TPP, government by secret corporations where you can't see the documents, and the corporations are grabbing all your data and recording what goes on in your house, and the CIA director goes out and shoots his mouth off laughing about it, how dumb we are. Well, I'm not dumb, and I know you people are a bunch of crooks. But getting back into the USA Freedom Act, what an Orwellian, ridiculous, over-the-top name, a fraud wrapped in a lie, wrapped in another scam deployed by the mainstream media. We have Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Senate, running around saying there is no illegal spying, your rights are not being violated. The same thing Marco Rubio is saying. This is really a battle right now between the forces of deception, the forces of truth, and will lies and outright con artistry that up is down and down is up and black is white and left is right. Will this be the victory of these fraudsters? Because we've had dozens and dozens of whistleblowers from the NSA go public. We have the actual NSA documents and schematics about how they're spying on everything. Big corporations are doing it. And then they just get up there and say, no one's violating your rights. Nothing's happening. Move along. Where'd you get these droids? These aren't the droids you're looking for. Move along. Move along. I mean, are we that dumb? Here is Mitch McConnell trying to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. But he's not a good guy. So I guess he's trying to be Darth Vader. Here it is.
And only with the approval of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court to query a database of call data records based on reasonable, articulable suspicion. No content, no names, no listening to phone calls of law-abiding citizens. None of that is going on. We're talking about call data records.
Man.
And these are the provider's records, which is not what the Fourth Amendment speaks to.
All right, let's stop right there. No, it's your personal papers and effects. This is how lawyers scam you. They get you to focus in on one little area about metadata and then claim that they're not spying on anybody outside of that when it's on record they are. In fact, anybody can type in NSA spied on Senate, CIA spied on Senate, CIA broke into Senate computers, beyond what Nixon did with the plumbers. You can type in MI6 blackmailing Parliament. All these governments are doing it. Of course these politicos want access to this, even though it's bringing them down. The Patriot Act was used to go after Hastert. As disgusting as Hastert is, and he fits the bill of one of these pedos, got to say he's innocent until proven guilty, still, it's not a terrorist. I mean, you don't suspend his constitutional rights to catch him. And the argument is, well, we got him. Really? It's better that 10 guilty men go free than one innocent man go to prison. I mean, this has been done before in history where you suspend due process and it creates hell on earth every single time. So remember, they denied there was any NSA spying before. Remember that? And now they had to walk it back and go, oh, okay, there is, but there isn't. In fact, they just found an article there about spying on Congress. Spying on members of the U.S. Congress, DOJ tapped congressional rooms as well as reporters' offices. That's right. They even went and hid microphones in the cloakroom and the break room of the senators. Without warrants, the Justice Department stuck microphones in private areas of the Capitol, wiretapping hardcore felonies. This is the same group that shipped guns into Mexico. Okay? I mean, that's the type of stuff going on here.
Celebrate the spirit of freedom and liberty upon which our nation was founded at InfoWarsShop.com. Molon Lave is ancient Greek for come and take it. This popular design combines both classic Greek Spartan imagery with modern M16 assault rifles. Now available in women's tees and proudly made in the USA. And now you can protect yourself from corrupt cops with the InfoWars dash cam. It's your car's black box that records all that the driver sees and hears. And introducing the Block It Pocket. It renders your phone undetectable while protecting your private data and your health. Or take back your privacy and protect your personal information by getting your very own Detractor cell phone pouch. So get incredibly high-quality, freedom-based products and help fund the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Well, there are some reporters at CNN that have told the truth. There are some reporters at CBS News that have told the truth. There are a lot of reporters on Fox News that tell the truth. Fox News tells about half the truth, the other half spinning lies. CNN, 75% lies, 25% truth. MSNBC, about 90%. Snowden, I have that article here. Then another one by Jeremy Diamond saying thought bulk data collection was gone, think again, admitting the thing's a fraud. So this just goes to show that so much of it is basically in the eye of the beholder or how it's spun. People ask me all the time, you say mainstream media is discredited and lies, but then you use it as a source. I watched some last night and this morning trying to figure out, where they were going with it, and then actually went to some of the different constitutional organization sites to see what they were saying. And the National Constitution Center says it's bad news. And we have gone to the subsections, and we'll go over those here on air. But CNN this morning had a couple articles, one saying that bulk collection was ending, and it was a big victory for out of the Senate with 67 yes votes. And it is called the USA Freedom Act, so it must be wonderful. I guess if you labeled cyanide pills with red, white, and blue, it'd be okay for children to take. Of course, it would really kill them. But we're going to break down what this act actually does and why Rand Paul was opposing it. Very schizophrenic reporting by Fox News, CNN, and others, because American Freedom Act, or USA Freedom Act, that Lord Obama has now signed into law, passed by the Congress yesterday evening.